Hot breath.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Hey,
you're excited about being on Hot Breath?
Yeah, I'm excited about being on Hot Breath, man.
That's what's up. I didn't even know you knew about it, so that's good.
Yeah,
we out here,
man. Hey, I'm one of them people. If I meet you in person, we talk or we exchange information. I try and keep up as much as I can.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, we shot like a gossip comedy thing a few years ago. You were hosting.
Yeah, and that was the beginning.
Just one of the many things you've been doing. But we're in here in Atlanta right now. What is kind of your connection to Atlanta?
Well, I was born in a place not far from here, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I can come this way, I have family in the area. But I came out here this trip working with Ali Sadiq. So,
boom.
You know, that
Houston.
brought me here. Yeah, we from Houston. So he was out here for the weekend. I was like, cool, I'll come hang out with my partner and go work at Uptown and smell the busted pipes in the building.
How did you get from Chattanooga to Houston?
My mom got a job when I was like 9, and my dad quit his job. This is a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy quit his job for my mama, drew his retirement down, moved to Houston with her and us, built a house, and then she left him the next year. Coldest shit you ever want to hear. Cold piece of work, bro.
That is cold.
My mama was gone and back single by 10. By the time I was 10, I was like, yeah, this is cold.
Wow, man.
Cold-blooded.
So were you performing as a kid and all that still?
Man, do you know, I was never I don't have the accolade to say I was the funny dude in school. I was never that dude. I was a good student. I was in the theater, and I did a lot of techie stuff. I did did techie for theater and acted in theater because our school didn't have enough people to do tech. So I was an actor and a tech. Then I was in a journalism and television production program. So I was always kind of able to do it. Like I was eventually on the path to do like journalism, newscasting, broadcasting. Yeah, I used to announce the basketball games and play music. Yeah, I was going to be a black Marv Albert at one point. And then I just one day decided in college that wasn't going to be it no more.
What changed?
I think I got kicked out of school. Well, in my sophomore year, this is where you in college, you start meeting different type of people. You know what I'm saying? So this is the first time I met somebody that was just really into doing like scandalous stuff. One of my homeboys, CP, he was like, man, you studying all hard, you can't party. You worrying about the wrong thing, man. I was like, what you talking about? I was like, man, I work in the registrar's office, man. Don't worry about this shit. You gonna be good. And I was like, okay. He was serious. He called me one day and said, hey, man, get to the computer, log in, check your grades. I checked my grades. He had changed all my B's to A's and all my C's to B's. I had like a 3.7 GPA. Now, my GPA wasn't bad. I was like a 2.9, a 3, A, B student. A C, I kept getting C's in math, but yeah, he got me in the honors program. Yeah, I got $19,000 worth of scholarship money, and $19,000 worth of scholarship money when you 18 years old is a textbook sign for fucking up your life.
Wow.
So I was living life high for like 2 semesters, and then the school found out about it, and it became a big deal, and then they kicked me out of school for a year. And around this time, I picked up a job to try not to, become a destitute person in society. And I hid it from my parents. They didn't know I was out of school. It didn't matter because they didn't ever give me no money for school, no way. So I didn't really feel obliged to have that conversation with them. So I was waiting tables at this restaurant, and then I started hanging out in clubs where they were doing comedy at. And one of my good friends at the time, his name was Energizer. He started doing comedy first. And it was on some tag-along shit that I was like, all right, I'm going to go with you. He was like, yeah, you need to get on this comedy shit. That's where the money at. And I'm like, oh, I should. Shall I? Yeah. I'm doing it tonight. So he went up and did it, and I watched him. He was horrible. And I was like, well, if he's horrible, I can be equally as horrible or better than that. And that's how it started. And then we met Ali, and that's like how our friendship started. Like he was there from like day one. And the first day I said I want to do comedy, I went on stage, and I was lit up. I was drunk. I was in this club, and I got a good. It was one of those things where I got a good response the first time, but I was drunk.
Right.
And he saw that, and he was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, come talk to me tomorrow." I was sober the next day. He came, and I had to go sit in his office. And it was weird. He had an office. That was another thing. A comedian with a real full-blown office.
Like a cubicle?
Nah, bro. Like a real office. Like you walk in there, it's different, like 3 different individual offices in an open area. So I walked in there, it's 9 a.m. Yeah, he's walk in. Yeah, that's not funny. Walk back out. So from like 9 to 11, I'm getting hazed on how to be a comedian. And man, it was like the tutelage started from there. And so, and that was where I started, really developing everything. I was horrible. When I first started. I don't have any fantastic stories about destroying. I was a monster. I was a prop. I was horrible. I remember there was a day at this comedy club. It was on the north side of Houston. It was called The Joint. And funny is, Houston doesn't have a lot of comedians, but all of the comedians that we have go on to be very well off. Like, it's weird.
Interesting.
So it's me, Ali, this guy, nephew Tommy, Thomas Miles from the Steve Harvey Morning Show, Keir Spates, Dave Lawson. We all sitting outside the comedy club, and I just go off stage and I bomb so bad. And I used to dress up. Like I've always dressed the same way. Like even before I was funny, I still was always sharp. So it was like, dude with the suit, man, he was horrible. Like so I come outside and Keir, if you know Keir Spates, he was just sitting there. He was smoking. He was like, "This is a goddamn shame, man. I don't know what to say to you, man." And I'm like, I'm fishing for help. Like,
right.
Thomas, he was like, y'all got to get better, man. I bring people out here to see us, and man, we can't put on shows like that. That's when Keir just jumps in. Nah, fuck it, Thomas. Nah, fuck it. He horrible. I don't know why you keep doing this shit. This shit ain't for you. This shit ain't for you. You dress nice, be a model, do something else you like. Just don't do this shit no more. This shit is not for you, man. It's bad. It's horrible. I don't know. And then Ali just walk around just like shaking his head, like, why are you doing this?
Wow.
And you just time just keeps going, and you keep writing and keep bombing, and then weirdly enough, you'll get the hang of it. You either sink or swim. And I looked up stuff, started getting better. I was able to implement me doing characters and different stuff to get better.
You ever been booed?
Oh yeah, I've been all that.
You got an epic boo story?
Okay, so this is a funny story. It's weird. It's Ali has a through line of showing up in many major moments in my life.
Awesome.
So I went to this school to do a comedy show, Prairie View. Now I'm from Texas Southern University. I went to Prairie View to do this comedy show, and they had like an amateur night. So it's me and another dude named Dante Barrett that goes down there to do this comedy show. Now they had $100 cash prize for people who did the best or whatever. So I go up. And the guy who announced me said, yeah, he's from Texas Southern University. So they start booing off the rip, like, because it's a rival school. It's like saying you in Philadelphia and you say, yeah, he plays for the Washington Redskins, and they just start booing. They not having it. So I'm like, no, my first joke was about Jesus. I was like, man, could you see if Jesus was in the club? Boo! They just booing. So I'm getting booed off. Then at this point, people start standing up with the boos and pointing, like, get off the stage. And then I said, I'm saying shit about them, about this dude being fat and all that. We going back and forth roasting. So I get off stage. And so Dante sees it. He's like, damn, this is a tough crowd. He proceeds to go on stage, and he does Ali whole set.
What?
So, I'm sitting there, and he killing. No, he killing too. Of course. He killing with somebody else, a whole material.
Right.
So we get off stage. I said, that's what you doing now? So we in the car riding back an hour and a half. He's like, man, I couldn't take it. I wasn't getting booed. I say, so you just gonna take the jokes?
Did he win?
No, he didn't win.
Okay.
Of course he didn't win. It's just the fact that he did that. He made it through that one night. So I said, I said, I'm gonna give you 3 days. You better tell Ali you did his jokes before I tell him. Man, come on, man. They're gonna be tripping. I said, hey man, you better tell him. Said, you ain't gonna get out here and have me getting booed. Because I knew his set was bad. I knew he was gonna get booed too. Mm-hmm. I had that feeling. I was like, yeah, he gonna get this boo. So, man, that was it. It just I kept working at it, man, and it just started working out for me. I started doing sketches. I was into sketches, and I was doing pranks. I was just doing stupid shit like taking people food and running off and recording it.
But recording it, yeah.
And
you always had a camera around, didn't you?
Yeah, I kept a camera. I always had. Filming. I mean, I'm probably one of the few people that have their first booze on tape. I know I got my. Yeah, I got it in HD somewhere. It's in high definition. And
so even before it was trending, you had this vision for like content and the power of it.
Yeah, and I think that was because I was trained in television and film, and I knew that it's one thing to say you're funny, but it's another thing to be able to show somebody and have a record of it. And I was just really good at keeping record of it. So I would document, I knew how to document things. So I would document us going on small road trips, us doing little stuff. So needless to say, when I really make it one day, I got some really good footage that I'm gonna pull out.
You get stuff in the can.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff in the can. But what really started helping me out though was I started doing sketches online, sketches. And before YouTube was out, the only way you could show somebody with sketches was like play it on a DVD in front of a big screen. So what I would do is I'd get some sketches I would do and I'd play them in the club. I knew some of the promoters, they let me play my stuff there. And I got some good results. I played sketches at my school during like step shows or big performances.
Wow.
And then it started the snowball effect happen. And what was pivotal was I was doing comedy, got back in school, and then I joined this fraternity. I became a Kappa. So they have a real intense hazing process. And so me being a comedian and trying to pledge a fraternity, it became like, oh, I got a comedian online, say something funny. And so I started losing my fear of performing on the spot. I started losing my fear of being like, getting booed because, worrying about what people gonna think. Because the worst gonna happen is like I was getting my ass kicked, so ain't nobody finna kick my ass at this show, so it should be fine. And I kept working at this spot, this place called the Candy Lady, which was a independently owned and operated comedy club. And one of my professors worked there, and another guy, Keelan Farouk, he was one of the owners of it. And Ali would be there and other guys in the city, and we would just work there. And it was kind of like where I was able to really comedy camp, really just get better. More times on stage, more confidence, more notes. It was a real constructive environment, and it just helped me get my feet up under me. And, YouTube came out, and I was able to start putting my sketches on YouTube. And then that's how I was able to really reach other people in other places, and people knew who I was. And then the room stopped being a room full of strangers, and people just like, oh, that's the dude that does this. And then it was a more warm environment, and that's just what helped build the process.
There is just almost two different worlds between like there's people who are funny online and then people who are funny on stage.
And it is very much two different worlds. See, this is the thing. I think what's underappreciated is the artist stand-up. Underappreciated because it's becoming a lost art amongst people who want to be funny. And it's so much stuff that happens. There's just the art of stand-up, then there's the art of storytelling, which is an advanced form of stand-up comedy. Because stand-up is like, let me tell you this joke, knock knock, who's there, this punchline, timing. But then once you get those mechanics down that fit your voice for who you are, then you can insert your life here.
Gotcha.
And that's where you start seeing like, wow, I can talk to you for 35, 45 minutes on stage. And it's like, well, I don't feel like it's a dead spot. I'm listening to a story that has a beginning, middle, and end, or something that happened. And, the people that were around me were really hard on me, like, hey, just tell them about your life. And my life was a very weird, crazy life. So I think one thing that helps me with the crowd that I go to, I've experienced a lot of stuff. So I'm not a judgmental person. And then my life experiences can relate to people who've experienced other things.
And you coming up under Ali, who is without a doubt one of the best storytellers in the game.
And that was his thing. And see, I didn't start off like being able to tell stories like that. This is like maybe in the last 2.5, 3 years of working on storytelling. Because I became a funny, and I worked a lot of colleges, and a lot of time in colleges, it's hard to tell a college crowd a story. Now, like I would tell them jokes and I had good hot sets, and that was what I worked on. And now we've been touring here recently. Me and the Wild Boys, me, Carlos Miller.
Yeah, from Wild and Out.
Right.
Yeah.
We were to go college to college, and then when you tell college kids stories and they're funny, then it's like, oh shit, like you can tell them stories.
Yeah.
You can. They're people.
What are some maybe storytelling secrets you've learned from working with people like Ali?
Tell the story from a real place. You'll never forget your story if it really happened. And I think that's the first thing. You sometimes I used to get mad because they'll be like, "Oh, that's funny. You should talk about that." And then I can't see where the funny was. I don't see it.
Right.
And it's weird because you're looking at it from this is the big laugh, and the big laugh is not always going to be something that's over the top, farcely unbelievable. Like when you start doing comedy at first, most people start trying to figure out what can I say to get a reaction or make. And if you can see that in conversation, becoming a conversationalist, like if I can talk to you and make you laugh in conversation, then it slowly becomes like that's what you stay on stage that gets bigger. Like what is the observation you made? What the difference between two things that really helped change me with comedy was understanding the difference between conceptual comedy and observational comedy. There's conceptual comedy, observational comedy, then storytelling. It's 3 formats that you can go to. Conceptual comedy is, I'll give you an example of a joke that everybody knows, but it's a concept and it works. It's conceptual. Conceptual means gun violence would go down if we charge more for the bullet. If bullets was $5,000 and you see somebody shot, you'd be like, "Ooh, he deserved that. He deserved to get shot." Chris Rock, right?
Yep.
Concept is if bullets cost more, then violence would go down. Well, you can take that one piece and put that concept in your head, and you're like, "Damn, it probably would go down." That's a concept that I put in your head. A plus B equals C concept. Observation is, have you ever seen this person that does this? I'm playing on you experiencing something that I experienced. You ever been on a train and you see the person that does this, blah, 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 blah? Observational comedy. Look at this motherfucker right here in the front row. This bitch got a fat such. Observational comedy. Storytelling. This is what happened to me this day. I don't care if it didn't happen to you, but this is what happened to me. Story. Now, through that, you're observing you through what you saw in your life, and people are going to relate to that. But at the same time, even if they don't relate to that, they're walking with you on your story like, "Oh, wow, I've never done that." So through your eyes, I understand what that experience is like, and I gain a life lesson.
And I guess filming sketches also helps with like conceptualizing stories,
Well,
I guess.
because in order for a sketch to work, you have to have a concept that you're trying to inject or a point that you're trying to make about something. Ones that were really successful for me were ones that said, "Hey, this is what I witnessed. This is black girls do this, white people do that, such and such does this." And it was a very cookie cutter, hackney format, and it's become that now. But originally, it really wasn't because nobody was really utilizing that format. But it was just a way for us to quickly construct these ideas and get them out.
Like shit black girls say. That
Right.
blows up. It goes viral,
Yeah.
the video you do.
Yeah, and I did that video, and I never did a part 2. There was never a part 4 of extra stuff. It was just like, hey, there was that concept. It worked. It introduced a character. I was always good at doing characters and impersonations, so that was one of the things that helped me, get that ball rolling. And it adds to a layer of confidence that you have of people saying, "I'm coming to you as a friend, and I want to watch you to become entertained."
Yeah.
Versus walk into this cold, dark, smoky ass room and make me laugh. And those are two different places, and it's from a position of fear. And like now, you don't walk into that room feeling that way anymore. You walk in that room feeling like, I know y'all. Y'all don't know me, but I know y'all. And y'all do know me once I start talking to you, because it's something that I'm gonna say that you'll eventually say, "Oh, I know where he's going. I experienced that." And like I said, it's a lost art, and people, you can't shy away from it. And it's not going to die. It's not going to die because as long as there's television, as long as there's long format, I always tell people all the time, it's like, sketches and building your fan base online is for promotion. It's like running a trailer to a movie.
Okay.
But you got to eventually go watch the movie, right? It's like if I keep showing you the trailer to Batman vs. Superman, but I don't never bring the movie out, eventually you're going to be saying, all right, fuck Batman versus Superman. I want to go watch Spider-Man. Something, I need to see the movie because you got me to that point.
And like you mentioned, the dude stealing Ali's material, but you know just as well, online content can just be as easily stolen as well.
Yeah, I've had a lot of stuff stolen.
Man Law, I guess, was a big one.
Man Code, yeah. I mean, that was a whole thing, man. That's a 2-hour story in its own.
You get the Spark Notes? What exactly happened on that?
Here's what happened. I was out with Duval doing some college dates. Mm-hmm. And the video was getting some good steam online on WorldStar and other places and getting millions of views. And I was doing it with this guy, Derek Evans. He's from Nashville. He and I were doing this man code thing. And we were just, man should never do this. And then we inserted dramatization act out. And those act outs was what people, on top of the laws. And then it became one of those things where I say on Twitter, what you think, what y'all got for me today? Suggestions. They throw suggestions out. So it became a very interactive thing. I talked to Duval about doing appearing in the sketch, like how I'm appearing on your podcast.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, we'll do this. And cool. Like 3 months passes by and I get like a phone call, I get message, email, people start sending me stuff that's coming out. I was like, hey man, they shooting this show up here. Y'all, you got a TV show on MTV. I'm like, what you talking about? And my homeboy in New York was like, oh yeah, y'all congratulations, y'all show got picked up. I'm like, what you talking about? And man, I look up online and the show has clearly copied the sketch verbatim. Like it wasn't it's similar. No. The exact sketch, the exact dramatization, they copied the format. And then they started adding other people. Then they opened it up and made it not less of an urban thing and made it just a broader perspective approach on MTV. So I called, friends, got an attorney, filed an injunction against Viacom. So right after that, I did Shit Black Girls Say. That went viral. So weirdly enough, I started getting emails from MTV, different networks. And so MTV emails me like, hey, we want to fly you to New York, want to meet with you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking it's got something to do with what the file, the injunction that happened, but really it's about this video. So we talking, they're like, oh, we want to do some programming with you, blah, 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 blah. And cool. We sitting in a closed environment like this, 4 people. Mid conversation, door opens up. Lady comes in. Oh, we're gonna have to pause right now. Legal's gonna come in. They letting us know you have an injunction filed against us. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all stole my show. I thought that's what we was up here for. Oh no, we thought, And so legal comes in, we had this whole conversation about how does this go away? Wow. They started giving me presenting opportunity. Well, when you have an issue with Viacom, we can't do anything with you at Comedy Central. We can't do anything with you at BET. Can't do anything at you at this. So you have to, sign a waiver to remove the injunction. But we want to do things with you. We want to get you involved in this show and this show and this show and this project. And I'm like, all right, do I try and fight Goliath? That's what I should have did.
Oh, man.
And I kind of pushed it and was like, you know what? This gonna be fucked up.
Let me tell you what he didn't do. Out of everything I listened to, the motherfucker didn't call back to the H and say, hey, they stole my fucking show. What should I do? And the whole crew would have got our attorneys and everybody and was like, hey man, this is how we do. But see, this is what happened when you're a young boy. You trying to, I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm in here. He got fucking intimidated. See, he should have called Nat Turner.
Boom. Ali Sadiq.
Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with my whole time doing comedy. It's just like, it's that Big Brother show. Oh, so you didn't want to fight him?
So what'd you settle? Like,
well, the settlement ended up being 2 things happened. One, they ended up giving us like right at $6,000
for the whole thing.
No, not for the whole thing. Just to appease, just for like, hey, solicited work, gave us some bread.
$6,000 for a TV show?
It was shit
for the whole thing.
Wow.
Promises and some other shit.
Mm-hmm. So you got money and then promises.
Nothing legal. Nothing on paper. Nothing written down. Not one attorney that this motherfucker got.
Wow.
Had a manager at the time. RIP.
R.I.P.
No, you had a friend, your frat brother, went to college with you with no legal experience.
He's just part of the squad.
R.I.P.
So Kevin Reed, he was like, Billy, listen to me. I know you want to fight these people. You just got to be smart. And I skipped a whole nother part of the story that I didn't tell you. So I did get into it trippy wise. Me and I'll go, of course, first thing I do, I call Duval. No response, no answer. I get on Twitter and y'all stole my shit, blah 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 blah. He says to me, like, man, this what you doing, this what you want to do, you want to do it this way, you know. And if it was one thing I learned from that, it's like you pick and choose your battles differently.
Okay.
And it's one thing I could tell you is like, you know, in television in Hollywood, it doesn't work the way the street work, the way you think it does. It's different. It's a different process. It's a different beast. It's a different animal.
The streets work in all aspects because everybody feel like they want to be safe. So if you would have said, hey, X, Y, and Z, and then we would have put the streets on it, then it'd have been a different situation. You see how when somebody slapped Drake and then the streets call, and then all of a sudden they throwing a festivity, they throwing a party for Drake, all of a sudden the same person that slapped him. You know what I'm saying? Streets mean a lot. I don't give a fuck what industry you in. Streets mean a lot. Steal my motherfucking show and watch what happened in the streets.
Okay.
But is Billy from the streets? Chattanooga is the
He got
streets?
people. He got
Okay.
people. You probably not from the street, but if somebody fuck with you and I'm here, you call me.
Yeah.
They be like, this white boy ain't even from your neighborhood. I don't give a fuck. He with the streets.
And this is when you become accessory to several assaults and batteries. Right there. I already knew if I call him, that ain't gonna be a meeting, a talk. It's gonna be somebody's desk getting set on fire, some trash cans getting through some windows, some people getting beat up.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I had to learn. It was like, it's a different way. It's a different way of dealing with this.
Okay.
Twitter fingers ain't gonna solve it. Being angry ain't gonna solve it. It's just understanding how Hollywood works. And that was my first lesson of Hollywood 101. Like, hey, what did happen good out of it, they sent me over to BT. They wanted to meet with me. BT offered me a red carpet hosting position. Hey, we want to do this project with you. We want you to host the red carpet at the BT Awards. Cool. It goes up my alley from journalism. I agree, I do it.
And you were a correspondent with them back in the day too, right?
Now, see, when I was in high school, I did a correspondentship with BT for Teen Summit. And this was years ago. Like, I had people, BT came to the school. And the funny part was, like, when I first got the Hollywood bug about wanting to really work in the industry, I was in high school, and that's how my college, I said I didn't have to worry about, like, getting the money from my parents to go to school. Well, I got in this program with ABC, and ABC had a producer's fellowship where you can write and produce television programming. So I did that fellowship for a year. They gave me like $40,000 to go to school.
Wow. And
that's how I went to school. And I went out to LA. I met with them. I worked with them. I had a producer, Melvin McRae, who produced World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. I went there and saw a live taping of that a couple times in New York. And so I kind of knew I was going to leave Houston and work in this industry. Mm-hmm. It was just a matter of how am I going to go about doing it. And sometimes you go on journeys that you don't understand why you're going through it, but you got to understand it and you learn some of those lessons. And then it comes full circle later on. And, the red carpet thing with BT opened up a lot of doors, helped me meet a lot of people. It's one thing about this game. It's not a today game. It's not a right now game. It's a slow cook. It's a slow build. And the lasting people who last in the industry, you're going to have multiple levels on which you're going to meet somebody. Like, I met you on that, but we sitting here talking on this, but then you don't know what the next level is we're going to work in the next capacity is. But it'll all go back to the first time we met each other on that Bossa project. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it works. So long story short, with the man code, guy code thing, injunction dropped. I worked on that. It just became, on a lot of different projects, became hard to work with certain people because you got such this beef in the street with a person. And there's a lot of opportunities I feel like I wasn't able to get on or do because I was that's the dude that got the problem with the such and such. But I worked on a whole bunch of other different levels, and it comes around full circle.
Let me tell you what's the fucked up problem about Hollywood is this. You'll get blackballed from some projects even though you was the one that was in the right. Because they want to work with somebody else. Okay, screw that this person fucked over you and we gonna help them fuck over you. But we know you talented. We know that you fucking wrote this project. But we gonna still fucking squeeze you out and then tell you, oh, if you don't do this, and then put on this label on you that you have a problem. I have a problem for a fucking real reason. You know what I'm saying? It's like the lady, how you mad at her about she getting fucking raped with butter in a movie that she don't know that's happening, but you fucking pissed at her? I didn't fucking know that he's gonna put butter in my ass and rape me, but you mad at me. What type of shit is that? I get raped, but you mad.
The butter rape. I missed that.
Marlon Brando did a movie, Last Tango in Paris.
Oh,
and there's an infamous rape scene in which a 19-year-old girl, who's the actress, and they got Oscar nominations for this movie, and Hollywood acclaim for this rape scene. But it turns out now it's a real rape.
Oh, wow.
It was a real rape then. It's not a real rape just now. This shit was a real rape then.
Wow.
And they filming the shit, and everybody in there know this is a fucking real rape.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they
And
decided.
they put butter in her ass. You can look at the interview online. You can look at the interview online, and he's admitting to it, and then the audience has this fucking disgusting laugh because he said, oh, we both looked at the butter. We knew what we wanted. And then they laughed, and he said he didn't want the girl's reaction as a actress. He wanted it as a real girl getting raped. But I'm fucking acting.
Wow.
I'm not a real girl in the street getting raped.
Ali is scaring me.
Hey,
We'll get him in the hot seat next. He's very passionate.
yeah, he is. he is.
It's a good person to come up under, though.
Man, look,
Must learn a lot.
Just imagine coming off stage and somebody talking to you like that. But it's like good coaching, though. It's like it's like Rocky without Mickey. It's over, Rocky. You gotta put your hands up. You gotta fight. There is no tomorrow. That was what that was. And so,
Despite all the Viacom stuff, it seemed to also have kind of charged you up and just to continue to blaze your own trail.
well, yeah, I think I definitely took a note that Houston isn't a city that gets a lot of attention for anything really. It's a city that people go to and make a lot of money at. It's the third largest market. But I just kept blazing my own trail, doing my own thing, continuously working. It didn't stop.
Releasing specials
doing
for
stuff,
free.
doing stuff online. Because at the end of the day, what I started realizing, I looked at one game that gave me some blueprint. I looked at how rappers do stuff. And rappers, they put out projects. They put out free mixtapes. Why did they start doing that? Because they knew that it was more important for people to listen to them and know who they are than get money from them and they still not know who they are. Like, the goal was that it was free, and then it's for kids are free. Kids don't want to spend money; they just want to be entertained. So, what they will do is they'll give you word of mouth. They'll tell so and so. They'll tell somebody else because they got time to do that. When you're older, you'll pay for some shit for what you like because you know what you like. Kids don't know what they like, so they watch every fucking thing, ingest it, and then the shit that they like, they share. And I might like something, but I'm not gonna be on my high horse shouting out, y'all need to go listen to such and such album and do this and do that. But they are the truest, purest form of fan base because their mind isn't congested with bills. I don't have time to do this. They're like, hey, they are hedonists in many ways. They just seeking the best pleasures out of life. From 18, really from like 17 to like 24, you were just a pure hedonist. You are strictly looking for the things. I'm drinking, I'm having sex, I'm doing drugs, I'm listening to music, I'm in the arts. Like, I'm whatever I can do that's on my own time. And that's what makes them the best critics. That's what makes them have the best. And it's interesting because every so many years, the climate changes for, or the appetite changes for what they want. The line is pushed further. The metaphors and similes that they use in music are definitely more intense as time has progressed. Now, storytelling. Hold on, see, wait a minute. We about to have a situation. He about to come over here because hey, I'm not saying
You know why it is not more intense? Because rappers don't have the intensity to be able to tell a story. I can listen to old school rap and I can hear the stories, and the metaphors and similes are still better. Like, just give you one from my man Rakim. Rakim say he in the streets and he has a beef, and he sees this guy at the store. Now he pulls up and buckshots are scraping the concrete. You know what I'm saying? Then he gone. NWA, I pulled up and I did a drive-by and I shot this person. You know what I'm saying? Different things. Even being able to teach you education. Poor writers, teachers. You got, when the dude opened the rap, he say, letters to words, words to phrases, to paragraphs. That's how things go. You learn letters, then you learn words, then you learn phrases, then you learn paragraphs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't think now. You know what I'm saying? So the metaphors are fucking awful. I know what you're talking about by everything that you're saying, but if I'm listening to Rakim and Rakim say, this is how good I am. You could take you take 7 MCs, put them in a line. You take 7 more rappers who think they can rhyme. It'll take 7 more before I go for mine. That's 21 MCs ate up at the same time.
So again, I think it's interesting to see how time progresses and appetites change. And as I expressed, there's a 10-year gap between us. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid 10-year gap. And so it's stuff that I was doing that he didn't do. It's stuff he did I didn't do. And then there's guys that's under us that's doing different stuff. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
You got to think. None of us can tap dance or sing at all. But you got to think Sammy Davis Jr., when he did comedy, he knew how to tap dance. He knew how to sing.
I just ain't did it in a long
Ah, man, this man
now.
here talking about he tap dance. I look like I ain't seen him tap dance.
He's river dancing out here.
He said he could, but
Yeah,
Sammy Davis
rhythm.
Jr. is a different thing.
But he was a comedy.
He's even older.
He's even older.
Sammy Davis Jr. was not listed as a comic. He was a performer. Just like if you think that what's my man that was with him, the Rat Pack. What's the leader of the Rat Pack?
Sinatra.
Sinatra was funny as hell. But was he a comic?
No, he wasn't. He was.
All of them were singers. The whole crew, the whole Rat Pack was singers, dancers, actors, and comics.
Yeah.
But they wasn't listed as comics. They was like, we going to see Frank Sinatra. Then he started bringing the Rat Pack. These was cats that, like Don Rickles.
Yeah, Don Rickles cool.
Don Rickles is a legitimate comic.
Yeah.
He don't tap dance. He don't do none of that. He wasn't a part of Rat Pack either. That was Frank Sinatra's boy.
Yeah.
His right-hand man.
Right-hand man.
The only guy that can make fun of Sinatra
The only person
was
who
Don
said
Rickles.
Sinatra refused to go to the White House if he couldn't bring Don Rickles with him.
Yeah.
He was like, you want to bring him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who we wanted. That's who we wanted to bring.
That's
That's what we wanted to bring with him. But yeah, I mean, like that's one thing that I've learned about it with social media is that those are the advantages that we had. I came up when there was no social media, and then in the midway point of my career, it appeared. So that was something that I took to and was able to use to my advantage.
You had the foresight to ask social media too. What do you like? I'll just do that.
Right. And then, there was stuff where I would sit and I would talk to them because it became a thing. It was as much of it was entertainment as it was education for me because I was learning what my audience was. I was learning who I was speaking to. I was learning like how do I grow this thing? And then I think there was a point where I kind of, there's so much stuff you have taken and stolen and lack of originality before you like, all right, let me just fall back. Let me work on this because I clearly, if this is a problem for me, people taking, And I didn't understand how to receive someone taking. Because I felt like that was all I had. And once you realize, no, that's not all you have and that's not all you are. And for somebody to take, they have to appreciate. And even if they can't articulate that they took from you subconsciously, meaning that your ripple of what you put out shapes somebody's life, who they watch, which is subconsciously how it is. People say imitation is the best form of flattery. When you're young and you don't know how, you don't know who you are, you don't know how to receive that. It comes with anger. You gotta think about it. Elvis and Michael Jackson got people to this day dressing up and doing their whole thing. They ain't out here getting mad, jumping out the grave, or when they were alive, fighting people about it. Like, don't do me like that. No, they understood that, hey, I'm this person and this is what I said about and what I set in motion, and you inspired by me. Cool. I didn't know how to deal with being an inspiration for somebody to draw from, but I drew from other people, you know? So as I got older, I'm able to accept that and understand that part of it.
Well, thank you so much for all that wisdom, man. I mean, it really adds a new perspective just on social media, and social media can be a distraction, but it can also be a tool. So it's cool to hear how you use it as a tool.
And clearly, you know, once I got older to understand it, I was able to look at how I knew how Hollywood worked. I was able to take the blame off of being mad at Duval, like, you did this and you took this from me. He ain't making no shows. He's not the green lighter of this. Like, you know, when I know how a show works, it's somebody that's in the office looking for a concept that they can make work for somebody. Who probably had no idea. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving benefit of the doubt. I'm off it. Like, hey, we've seen each other since then. There ain't no beef. But it was a lesson learned in life on how to deal with things, because when you have your moment to shine, you just want to shine in your moment. You don't want 10 people trying to step on your shine and for your moment. And everybody gonna have their moment. Some people gonna have 2 or 3 moments. And that's what this game is about. You know, that's where you learn how to share. Being on Funniest Wins with Marlon Wayans, I learned, hey man, you know, you got to know your audience, know who you're speaking to, but also understand it's a team dynamic. Working with Nick, it's a team dynamic. It ain't just you be funny and blaze everybody. It's no, you say something about me, I say something about you. Now we giving them a show. But if it's one-sided, this is trash. I don't want to watch this. You know what I mean? Like, I learned how to share the room. Improv teaches you that in my improv training. Hey, we doing this together. It ain't no me. No matter how funny I am, if the story that we're telling together doesn't make sense, then what do people get? They don't get anything.
Well, thank you for your time and
hey man, appreciate
being
it.
here, man. Before we get out of here, is there anything else you want the world to know?
Billy Sorrells. Check out my YouTube channel. Laugh, share, comment, like, subscribe. Check me out live. I'm everywhere trying to do this comedy thing. And I'm out of here.
And now on Hot Breath.
Hot breath.
Thank you, Billy Sorrells. Yeah. We made it. No, I did. I got to most of them, actually. I always like to prepare, and that's
good. That's what makes it interesting, man. Instead of just saying, so what you doing now?
right. Yeah. So what's up? That's what. Hot breath. Hot breath.